This episode of Infinite Scroll is brought to you by Coach Love, the new fragrance by Coach. Inspired by all the ways we express love, Coach Love is a fruity floral scent that makes the perfect gift for your loved one or even yourself this Valentine's Day. Coach Love opens with top notes of wild strawberry, features a rich heart note of red velvet rose, and dries down with a warm base note of cedarwood. And to celebrate love in all its forms, Coach will be hosting an event, and you guys are invited. The event will be on February 15th at America Grande Brasserie in Sydney from 6 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. There are 25 free spots available, so click the link below to reserve your free ticket. The event will include fragrance discovery, tarot card readings, canapes, and sweet treats, and I'll be there interviewing guests about what love means to them. Again, reserve your free spot for the event at the link below. On October 11th, 2021, Jimmy Donaldson took to TikTok with a proposal for his audience. Help get this video to 10 million likes, and he will recreate the smash Netflix series Squid Game in real life. With a proposition like that, his TikTok quickly reached 10 million views, and within a day, Jimmy was on the hook for a project that felt way too ambitious for any digital creator. But luckily for viewers, Jimmy is not just any digital creator. Jimmy Donaldson is the man behind MrBeast, the biggest channel on YouTube by a single person. And if there's one thing fans know about Jimmy, it's that no idea is too big and no video is too expensive for MrBeast. By mid-October, Jimmy and his team got to work. They partnered with Finnish video game developer Supercell to help fund the video, which ultimately cost a whopping $3.5 million to produce. The team recreated several sets from the show, like the contestants' bunk room, the tug-of-war platform, and the indoor playground, and Jimmy cast 456 contestants to compete in a series of games for a $456,000 winning prize. While players in the Netflix show were eliminated from the game via death, Jimmy awarded his eliminated contestants with a $2,000 cash consolation prize, a classic MrBeast move. MrBeast's Squid Game Challenge was released on his YouTube channel just 1 month later on November 24th, 2021. Within days, the video helped Jimmy break 4 major YouTube records for a single creator, including the fastest video to reach 100 million views and the most subscribers gained in one day at 1.4 million subscribers. Nearly every mainstream media outlet was covering MrBeast's Squid Game video. With such algorithmic success, criticism was sure to follow. Many called his version dystopian and felt that it completely missed the point of the original series, barely scratching the surface of the show's message about hypercapitalism and wealth disparity. But despite the criticism, one thing was now for sure. MrBeast had solidified himself as YouTube's most powerful creator. And it only took him 9 years to get there. From Centennial World, I'm Lauren Meisner, and this is Infinite Scroll, a podcast about internet culture, the creator economy, and how social media is shaping Gen Z. Welcome back to Infinite Scroll, everyone. I wanted to take a minute to thank all of you for all of your love and support on last week's episode. I know the style is so different now from before, and I so appreciate you guys sticking with me while I figure out how to perfect this and navigate the addition of the music and the different editing style and all of that. As you know, I do basically all of this myself, and Annabelle helps me research and put it all together. Guys, it's just me, so it will take a little while as I figure out, how to do it properly. So as always, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe. It means so much to me when you guys leave reviews. I got some great feedback last week, and it just helps me grow. It helps me keep going, And please remember to sign up to our newsletter as well, also called Infinite Scroll. On Wednesdays, we send out a bigger opinion piece, like an essay about a creator or a viral topic happening that week. And on Fridays, we round up the 5 biggest think pieces or opinion pieces on the internet that week. And also, please join our Geneva group. That is where you guys can chat with other people who are also obsessed with internet culture and creator drama and tea. Okay, I'm going to read some reviews every week. Again, I'm still going to keep this going because it brings me so much joy. So here are just a few that I received this week. Tara says, found this one so interesting, great ep. Hottie Rach says, honestly, perfection. I loved this episode. On Apple, one says, well done, Lauren. Great kickoff to your new podcast format. Look forward to seeing what else the podcast entails. And then we got some feedback in Geneva as well. Emily said, Lauren, I just want to pop in and say that the episode was so good for the first solo. Can't wait for next week's. And Jessica said, agreed. Bravo, Lauren. If I'm being fully honest, so much of what I loved about the pod were you and Jordan's banter, but you brought the same energy solo with the info provided in an entertaining, nuanced, and thorough fashion. Jordan will be missed, and I look forward to her guest appearances, but you totally got this. That is so kind, you guys. Thank you so much, truly, for sticking with me through this transition. MrBeast is far from an overnight success. The 25-year-old YouTuber grew up in North Carolina, where he was raised by a single mother after his parents divorced in 2007. In the documentary The Origin of MrBeast by Stream Curiosity, Jimmy's mother said he would hyperfixate on projects from an early age. His early obsessions included Lego and baseball. But as he entered his preteen years, Jimmy would find the thing that he would hyperfixate on for the next decade to come. Though Jimmy loved watching YouTube as a kid, he didn't consider it something for him. That is, until he saw one of his favorite gaming creators quit his job and go full-time on the platform. Jimmy was 12 at the time, and that's when he realized that creating YouTube videos could be a job.
I have a memory of this one video I watched back then where one of my favorite creators, Woody's Gamertag, quit his job and went full-time on YouTube. And this was like before, like a lot of people didn't even know you could make money on YouTube back then. I remember seeing that. I was like 12, and it kind of just clicked in my head. I was like, wait a minute. You can make money doing this.
Jimmy created his first channel where he engaged in sub for sub. This was a popular tactic in the early days of YouTube, where creators would subscribe to each other's channels to help their sub counts grow. Jimmy quickly had over 7,000 subscribers, but his video views were dismal, like less than 10 views a video. So he scrapped the channel and started a new channel called MrBeast 6000, named after his randomized Xbox gamer username, in February 2012 at 13 years old. Jimmy's early content was very 13-year-old boy. As Ryan Broderick put it in the Garbage Day newsletter, he was, quote, a teenage PewDiePie fan making gameplay videos. Some of the titles of his early videos include Best Minecraft Castle Ever, How to Get Unlimited Diamonds, Minecraft brackets X-Ray, Most Epic Thing in Minecraft, with a million exclamation marks and question marks. A close childhood friend of Jimmy's, Chris Tyson, helped him start the MrBeast channel. She soon became an important part of the channel, co-hosting and appearing in many of the MrBeast YouTube videos. Note, Chris now uses she, her pronouns, but was using he, him at the time that Jimmy started the MrBeast channel. On the beginnings of MrBeast, Chris says, quote, he started making commentary-style YouTube videos, which is like you have somebody playing a video game, then you're just talking over, giving your opinions about stuff. He started doing that for a while, which kind of turned into a new series that he started, where he was talking about YouTubers and how much money they make. Jimmy also tried his hand at skits and comedic videos, but didn't find much success with this style of content. He would later joke about his attempt on the Colin and Samir show, saying he is not naturally funny, which is why these videos, which were wildly popular at the time, just didn't stick for him. One of the most endearing things about Jimmy that I found in researching this episode is his tenacity. He did not have a fast track to YouTube success, but persevered for years despite that. 2 years after starting his channel, Jimmy posted a video revealing that it took him 75,000 views to make his first $100 off of YouTube. He said, quote, I am making around $30 a month. That is what I am averaging right now. Throughout high school, Jimmy would launch 2 series that helped his channel grow. One, as I mentioned before, where he would talk about what he presumed other YouTubers were making from AdSense, and another where he poked fun at the worst YouTube video intros. In a March 2016 video that was part of his worst video intro series, he opened up about feeling the push and pull between doing YouTube for growth or simply because he enjoys it. Jimmy finished high school later that year in 2016 before starting college at East Carolina University. Jimmy's mother was insistent on him attending college if he was going to stay living under her roof, and she wasn't yet aware of his double life as a YouTuber. So Jimmy went to college to appease his mom, but instead of attending classes, Jimmy spent most of his time editing and making videos. It was around this time when his viewership started rising and his AdSense was finally enough that he could afford to move out of his mom's house. This growth was largely thanks to his switch to challenge-based videos. like filming himself cutting a table in half with a plastic knife. Quote, "I just stopped going to classes and I just didn't tell my mom. I would film videos while I was at college, but somehow when I got there, maybe I got a big spark of motivation and went harder, but that's when things actually clicked and my viewership did start to go up quite a bit." After just a couple of weeks, Jimmy told his mom he was dropping out of college and would move out the next day. As his channel grew, Jimmy hired 4 of his childhood friends, Chris, Chandler, Garrett, and Jake. In January 2017, Jimmy had his first breakthrough moment. 5 years after starting the MrBeast channel, he posted an almost 24-hour-long video counting to 100,000. Counting to 100,000 actually took him 40 hours, but Jimmy had to keep the video under 24 hours for editing purposes, so he sped up parts of the video. This marked the beginning of the MrBeast we now know, a channel specializing in insane challenges. He went on to post videos like microwaving a microwave, reading the entire B-movie script, watching It's Everyday Bro for 10 hours straight, and saying Logan Paul's name 100,000 times. Quote, "That's when I kind of just realized, like, if I go all in, I really be creative and unique, and I do things that just no one else would do because they're so hard and take so much effort, right? People have no choice but to watch it because it's just so interesting." While Jimmy embraced stunt-based content at the beginning of 2017, the philanthropic twist to his videos came a few months later. In mid-2017, Jimmy was offered his first brand deal with the app Quid. The brand offered him $5,000, which he ended up turning down. Instead, Jimmy asked for $10,000 so he could give it to a homeless person and film the interaction for YouTube. He said it took a lot of convincing, but the brand finally agreed so long as the video went viral. On June 16, 2017, Jimmy released the video titled "Giving a Random Homeless Man $10,000, marking a significant turning point in the MrBeast channel and in Jimmy's career.
"This is not clickbait. I'm going to give a random homeless guy $10,000 today."
He went on to make several similar videos that year, like others where he gave more money to homeless people, and one where he tipped pizza delivery drivers hundreds of dollars. This started Jimmy's cycle of using the money he made from one video to reinvest in the following video. Not only did these videos do really well, but Jimmy later said that once he saw the impact he could make through his content, he realized he wanted to do more philanthropy. Quote, "I want to use brands to allow me to help people." By November 2017, MrBeast reached 1 million subscribers. Jimmy met talent manager Reed Dusher in 2018, and they began working together. When they met, Reed said Jimmy was giving away basically all of the money he was making. This earned Jimmy the title of YouTube's biggest philanthropist, having given away over $1 million in 1 year of these charity videos. 2018 was also the first time when Jimmy really flexed his wealth and influence. During the PewDiePie versus T-Series rivalry, which was essentially a competition between creator PewDiePie and an Indian record label to become the first channel to reach 100 million subscribers, Jimmy publicly and financially backed PewDiePie, buying billboards and numerous television and radio ads to promote PewDiePie's channel. During the Super Bowl that year, Jimmy also bought multiple seats for himself and his team, whose shirts spelled out "Sub to PewDiePie." Though T-Series ended up winning the battle, Jimmy's ability to help the most popular single YouTube creator in the world at the time gain millions of subscribers was a wake-up call to the YouTube world. MrBeast was one of the most powerful people online. He finished out 2018 with 13 million subscribers. Jimmy took his philanthropy to the next level in October 2019 when he announced Team Trees, a fundraising challenge on YouTube with the goal of reaching $20 million to plant 20 million trees to celebrate 20 million subscribers on his channel by January 1st, 2020, giving himself just 2 months to hit that fundraising goal. Jimmy collaborated with NASA engineer and YouTuber Mark Rober on this project. Together, they tapped into their network of influencer colleagues, and many promoted the initiative for them for free on their channels. Notable business people like Jack Dorsey, Elon Musk, and Susan Wojcicki also donated to the cause. By December 19th, Team Trees had raised $20 million, which they donated to the Arbor Foundation. Team Trees later led to Team Seas, a similar initiative by the two YouTubers with the goal to raise $30 million to clean 30 million pounds of trash out of the ocean. The project was in collaboration with Ocean Cleanup, and this partnership was highly controversial. As Molly Taft writes for Gizmodo, quote, "But before the Team C's campaign even began, it was a source of controversy with some scientists in the YouTuber community. That's because it's being done in partnership with the Ocean Cleanup, a group that has come under widespread criticism by scientists for its techniques to scoop up plastic from the open ocean." In September 2020, Jimmy doubled down on his do-gooder reputation and launched a new YouTube channel called Beast Philanthropy. It was through this channel that he would raise more than $1 million in supplies for food banks to help service those around the country who suffered during COVID. In the Curiosity Stream documentary, Jimmy describes Beast Philanthropy as a food bank funded by a YouTube channel. Following the success of his new career launch, Jimmy dabbled in other business ventures outside of YouTube, like MrBeast Burger and Feastables. Launching in 2020 in partnership with Virtual Dining Concepts, MrBeast Burger was initially a delivery-only American-style fast food chain offering burgers, sandwiches, and fries. The first 2 years were a massive success for the YouTuber, with MrBeast Burger opening over 300 delivery-only locations across the United States and selling over 1 million burgers in less than 3 months. As Alicia Kelso writes for Forbes, quote, "Within its first quarter, MrBeast Burger, launched in partnership with Virtual Dining Concepts, had about 300 locations available on digital marketplaces and hit its 1 millionth burger sold milestone. The brand swiftly became the most downloaded app on both iTunes and Google Play and was one of the top 5 most popular Google searches worldwide. MrBeast Burger instantly proved it could find success without a prominent storefront or convenient drive-through or hefty marketing budget leveraged by many of its global burger peers. Soon, the YouTuber proved that their delivery model wasn't the only path to success, opening the first brick-and-mortar MrBeast Burger store in Rutherford, New Jersey last year. The store was an instant hit, with MrBeast Burger breaking the record for, quote, "the most burgers sold in a single day by a single restaurant." Jimmy has since distanced himself from MrBeast Burger after noting issues with quality control. In a deleted tweet from June last year, Jimmy wrote, quote, "I started MrBeast Burger to help restaurants make more money during the pandemic, and it worked. But sadly, when working with 2,000 restaurants that I don't own, it's impossible to guarantee the order quality." When asked if he plans to retire MrBeast Burger and close specific locations, the influencer shared that due to contractual obligations, he has limited control over the future of the business. Feastables, on the other hand, which is MrBeast's brand of chocolate bars that launched in 2022, has been a success. The chocolate bars are sold in grocery and department stores worldwide, and in 2023, Jimmy announced that Feastables had teamed up with the Charlotte Hornets to debut a new logo and become their official jersey patch sponsor of the 2023-2024 NBA season. Now, it wouldn't be the story of MrBeast if I didn't cover the criticism and questions around his philanthropic content. So if you're a MrBeast simp, I suggest you click out now. Despite his success on YouTube, for years, Jimmy struggled to break into the mainstream. His audience was largely made up of preteen boys who liked to play video games and other creators who admired his dedication to the craft. His 2021 Squid Game video changed all of that. But with more notoriety amongst people who had fully developed prefrontal cortexes, Jimmy started to face a level of criticism he was not previously used to. And this criticism has shown the cracks in the MrBeast facade. The criticism against Jimmy actually starts at the root of what he claims to care about most: philanthropy. Now, whenever somebody questions Jimmy's intentions, that person is met with a gaggle of fans who say undoubtedly that charity equals good. So if MrBeast is doing charity, no matter how he does it, it must be a good thing. And if charity work is a good thing, then MrBeast must be a good person. And if you're criticizing MrBeast, you must be a bad person. So while yes, the money that Jimmy has given away and the work that Beast Philanthropy has done has no doubt changed lives, let's zoom out for a minute and consider the problems with philanthropy as an industry. Private philanthropy has increased dramatically in the past 20 years, with nearly 3/4 of the world's philanthropic foundations being established during that time. British journalist Paul Vallely reports that between all of them, these foundations control more than $1.5 trillion USD. One of the main issues with private philanthropy is that it's always an, quote, expression of power. It's a super rich individual picking and choosing the causes that matter to them, as opposed to, say, paying their fair share of taxes. It lets the super rich live out their God complex. They believe the answer to the world's problems is private philanthropy because they believe that they know where the money should go, that they know better than governments or local members of that society. This can sometimes contradict or undermine the priorities of a community. David Callahan, the founder and editor of Inside Philanthropy, puts it this way. Quote, when donors hold views we detest, we tend to see them as unfairly tilting policy debates with their money. Yet when we like their causes, we often view them as heroically stepping forward to level the playing field against powerful special interests or backward public majorities. These sort of a la carte reactions don't make a lot of sense. Really, the question should be whether we think it's okay overall for any philanthropist to have so much power to advance their own vision of a better society. We see this God complex mentality through MrBeast content, and we also see those a la carte reactions to MrBeast content from his audience. Jimmy doesn't ever address wider systemic issues at play in his videos, and he absolutely always centers himself in the videos. His videos are about him giving back, not about the issues that he's covering in his videos. YouTuber The Cavernacle puts it like this, quote, MrBeast uses poverty as a backdrop to make himself look better. He'll show himself giving money to homeless people, tipping minimum wage workers hundreds of dollars, giving people free food at his food bank, paying for medical procedures for people, but he doesn't touch on why these people, most who live in America, the richest country in the world, need a millionaire YouTuber to help them afford basic necessities. He says one of his biggest motivators is helping people. But one-off handouts from a millionaire on camera doesn't do anything to help society as a whole long-term. And his audience plays into this. There are several videos on the MrBeast channel that take us through people's living conditions, show us their car, paint a picture of vulnerability, poverty, and desperation. And then, to make us feel better about Americans living in these conditions, Jimmy swoops in and saves them by handing them a wad of cash or an iPad or something. And as viewers, we connect with the struggle of these people. So it's easier for us to see MrBeast, as Callahan put it, heroically stepping forward to level the playing field. But this general acceptance of MrBeast charity porn, it feels so opposite of what we accept from other people. It wasn't that long ago that a TikTok creator basically got run off the platform for filming herself handing a sleeping homeless man some food. So why do we accept this from MrBeast? Two other major issues with private philanthropy are the tax incentives and the threat it poses to democracy. Nicholas Lemon for The New Yorker writes, quote, donations to nonprofit organizations are tax deductible, and only people who itemize their deductions, that is, affluent people, get this advantage. Foundation endowments are not taxed. What's more, donors often try to leverage their gifts to influence the direction of much larger flows of government spending. So while Jimmy claims to, give all of his money away and that he loses money on every video, there have long been questions about his tax breaks and his business write-offs, especially following the formation of Beast Philanthropy. Now, you might be thinking, well, MrBeast's philanthropy is at an individual level. He's giving away lots of money to individual people as opposed to writing donations for bigger causes that could influence government spending or public policies. So that must be less insidious, right? Well, let's look at his most controversial video to date and his reaction to that controversy, because how he responded to the backlash really showed his cards. In January 2023, Jimmy posted a video, quote unquote, curing blindness in 1,000 people. In the video, he paid for 1,000 surgeries for blind patients where the surgery is not available or accessible, including the US, Mexico, Indonesia, Brazil, Vietnam, Kenya, and Jamaica. In this video, he also gave away $10,000 to select patients, $50,000 to someone about to start college, and a Tesla to a patient who always wanted a car. This video was a turning point in the public perception of MrBeast. Twitter user @LolOverruled shared a screenshot of the video, writing, There is something so demonic about this, and I can't even articulate what it is. That tweet went viral, and thousands of people quote tweeted it, sharing their own thoughts on MrBeast's Charity for Views brand of content. Many said that MrBeast's content can be exploitative for those involved. Others noted that his altruism is both publicized and monetized, often making millions of dollars from these videos, whether he personally pockets the money or not. Quote, if he was doing this out of the goodness of his heart, he wouldn't publicize it. The fact that he is clearly doing this for content gives me the feeling that he is involved in some truly evil shit, wrote @KaiserBeams. Alex Cranz, managing editor at The Verge, compared MrBeast to an early 2010s Elon Musk because, quote, he's a wealthy man who loves to market his altruism as entertainment to build himself more wealth. This comparison to Elon Musk is something Jimmy gets a lot, but he himself is an admitted fan of Elon Musk, or at least used to be, so I doubt he takes this comparison as a bad thing. Tech journalist Stephen Aquino said that as a blind person himself, the video rubbed him the wrong way. Quote, there's a new video out from a highly prominent YouTuber on curing blindness that really rubs me the wrong way. It's literally a bunch of abled people effectively shouting that having a disability is bad and less than. This is your problem, abled friends. You keep conflating altruism with ableism, and we get let's cure people like you're Jesus. The video didn't address any larger problem, like what factors may lead to this type of blindness, or the systemic issues that prevent people from affording this very quick, simple surgery, a surgery that is covered by universal healthcare in many countries. As Twitch streamer Amy C3 put it, quote, if your content revolves around you proving that you are a good person by finding people who are incredibly vulnerable, exploiting them, and then humiliating them in front of millions of people, I don't think that you are really spearheading any real movement other than your own goals of advancement. And about those random prizes that Jimmy gives people throughout the video in addition to paying for the eye surgery, that is a calculated move to increase retention on his videos, which he openly discussed on the Colin and Samir podcast. As his video faced increasing criticism online, Jimmy took to Twitter in what journalist Ryan Broderick called a charity tantrum. Jimmy wrote, Twitter, rich people should help others with their money. Me, okay, I'll use my money to help people and I promise to give away all my money before I die. Every single penny. Twitter, MrBeast bad. Despite millions of comments of people praising him for helping these 1,000 people see again, Jimmy could not handle that there was a subset of people online who were critical of his video and skeptical of his intentions. This is a bizarre reaction to have, given MrBeast is now the largest YouTube channel on the platform by a single creator with over 237 million subscribers. It should not be controversial to critique and question the influence of the largest digital creator of our time. Not to mention, two things can be true at once. Jimmy can be changing lives while also exploiting those same people's lives. He can be changing lives while also feeding his own ego and building his own wealth. Because his philanthropy comes with strings attached. You have to agree to be in a MrBeast video. You have to agree to open yourself and your circumstances up to millions of people for consumption and judgment. Jimmy is not giving a homeless person $10,000 cash without filming it. One day after he threw his charity tantrum, quote unquote, on Twitter, he tweeted a poll. Would you vote for me if I ran for president? Yes or no? Jimmy's reaction to the backlash was incredibly telling. Not only did it solidify that he does have political aspirations and therefore his philanthropy is meant to sway public opinion on him and does extend beyond an individual level, but it also gave us insight into what actually motivates MrBeast. Jimmy's motivation is one of the most contentious topics online. That's because he regurgitates the same two talking points when asked about why he creates videos and what his end goal is. He says, number one, that all he cares about is helping people, and number two, that he loses money on every video. Jimmy has managed to convince his audience, and thus the greater online community, since his audience is so large, that he's YouTube's Robin Hood. He's this heroic outlaw who stayed in his hometown instead of moving to LA. He uses rich corporations that fund his videos to give money to poor or sick or vulnerable people, and he wants nothing in return. But when you pay closer attention to how Jimmy talks about his career in interviews, documentaries, and even on his own social media, you'll notice there is one message he pushes even more than helping people. That all he really cares about is making the best videos possible. But what does that mean? The best videos possible is such a subjective metric. Well, to research MrBeast is to discover how deep his hyperfixation on virality is. His goal from the start, back when he was just 13 years old and first learned that you could actually make money on YouTube, has been to game the algorithm. And despite some mixed messaging, Jimmy hasn't been so coy about his motivations. When asked about his goals on the Colin and Samir podcast, he said frankly, quote, "What's the point of making a video if no one watches it?" As mentioned above, he also told the duo he gives away random money and prizes throughout his videos, not because he's the most selfless philanthropist, but as a type of subplot to hold viewer attention and ensure his retention rate is always above 70%. On this same podcast and throughout other interviews I watched, Jimmy openly discusses his first kind of charity porn video when he gave a homeless man $10,000 as part of a brand collaboration, a sentence that feels so disturbing to say out loud. He doesn't speak about that moment saying that he was motivated to give back or help someone out. He speaks about that video in relation to its success, as in he promised the brand that if they gave him $10,000 instead of $5,000, the video would go viral. MrBeast measures his success based on views, engagement, and virality. His idea of the best video possible does not include artistic expression, storytelling, or a greater creative purpose, motivations that are typically the backbone of a creator's vision. In fact, he did note in a recent interview that he has been working on his storytelling purely because of audience feedback. So while Jimmy might not be personally pocketing all of the money he makes from viral philanthropy or his challenge videos where he's giving away money, his content is feeding the MrBeast ego. Because what motivates MrBeast at the end of the day is virality. And he and his team have not tried to hide that from us. His manager, Reed, told producers for the Curiosity Stream documentary that when they met, Jimmy, quote, was going to do whatever he could to be a successful digital creator. He didn't say that Jimmy was going to do whatever he could to be a successful philanthropist, and he didn't say that Jimmy was going to do whatever he could to build a community of engaged followers that appreciate his content. As Ryan Broderick wrote for Garbage Day, quote, "Being unnaturally viral is all MrBeast really is at this point, and it tarnishes everything he does. And it's most notable with his charity work. Most likely because at this point we all know that making purely viral content and chasing audience-agnostic mass appeal, as MrBeast does, requires in some sense being a complete sociopath with no concept of what it means to artistically or creatively express something. Which is why most creators that go viral eventually settle into a baseline. They find an audience and start figuring out what their niche is beyond traffic. But MrBeast never did that, because traffic is all he seems to want or care about. If he truly cared about philanthropy, for instance, why not just do it and never film it? Well, that's because philanthropy is just another type of viral content for him. And based on how touchy he gets every time he tries and fails to be taken seriously, he's clearly aware of how limiting this has become for him. Yes, he dominates YouTube, but he also can't figure out how to cobble together enough lowest common denominator content to escape it. At his core, MrBeast is not a creator. MrBeast is not a philanthropist, and MrBeast is not objectively the best video maker in the world. At his core, MrBeast is a marketer who found that gifting people prizes and large sums of money on camera will get him the virality and influence he's been desperately chasing since he was 13 years old. Infinite Scroll is a podcast written, produced, edited, and presented by me, Lauren Meisner, for Centennial World. Additional research and reporting is by Annabelle Ben-David. Thank you so much for listening. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you next week.